My last message, and contrary to belief, we do not have freedom of speech in this country anymore. According to a particular person who's mentioned this on 2 occasions when in the White House and speaking in Scotland with Donald Trump, we have had freedom of speech in this country for a very, very long time. And we're going to have to do so for a longer time. Yeah, that's right. We don't have a freedom of speech. My last film sort of disappeared, so this will probably go the same way. I would like to discuss just the brief encounters of these people who are in charge of our nation. You will know who they are, and I won't really have to mention their names. Last month we had Emmanuelle Srapon come to England to have a banquet and to entertain the Gimp, sort of at a banquet where the Srapon put a jolly nice smile on the Gimp's face. So Macron turns up, you know, that French rib tickler. He's so full of fun and happiness, it's unbelievable. Now, that banquet cost the British taxpayer about £500,000. That's your money and my money going on them to have their jollies. What an absolute waste. But the disgrace doesn't end there. When they're having this banquet, Macron turns to the people who are gathered that the English people are a soft touch for allowing all these migrants to come across the North Sea and not doing anything about it and making them welcome with open arms. Now, to the French, England, our country, is like the Rwanda scheme. They are passing them through from France over to England, even though the taxpayer, through the British government, have awarded the French to stop these people from getting into the sea on a boat to come to England in excess of, are you waiting for this? £750 million. That's taxpayers' money, that's your money, and that's my money, going in to a pie in the sky sort of dream that's never going to take place. These people are just going to come over the sea into England and claim benefits. Universal credit is over £1 million, sort of for foreigners who are coming into, and they're getting everything. They're getting driving lessons. The councils are paying for all this, you know, at taxpayers' expense. They're in 4-star hotels. And while we're accommodating these people, they're going out and accommodating themselves by raping our children. Not only children now, but women and also men in their 60s. Outside a church, one of them in Liverpool. So my question here is, how long does this madness need to continue before it's cut off? Before no more? We're living in quite a scary time. Macron has no intention to stop the boats from coming across. He's using his country as a portal to provide access for all these foreign invaders to come into England because he does not want them in his country. So where do they go? Into the sea and over to England. I don't know. Anyway, now there are some very strange things that I'm hearing and listening to. Do you know that Macron's wife was actually his school teacher? And did you know that apparently his wife was born a man? Now, you get this very strange kind of vibe from Macron when he comes to England with Starmer, the Gimp. They have no thought for the British people whatsoever. One of the things that I find quite offensive, I heard a few years ago, you know, in the First World War, British soldiers laid down their lives, you know, for freedom and democracy. They went over to France, they were on the Somme, and they died by their thousands trying to liberate France and freedom. Now, about 10 years ago, I read an article in a paper which had me absolutely incensed. Apparently, some of those lovely little French people vandalised British war graves. Do you know what the vandalism said? It stated, dig up your trash. It is contaminating our soil. If it wasn't for those British soldiers that laid down their lives for these French peasants, there wouldn't be a France. It would not exist as a country. If I was the Prime Minister of this country, I would go to war against France for acts of inhumanity against the British people. I would ask the Germans to join forces with us, and we could put them in a pincer movement and turn France into a Germanic English state for freedom. Now, here's another one. We have paid out £2.26 billion to the Ukraine and made a pact with the Ukraine for 100 years where we're going to be ploughing money like confetti into a country that has no connection with our own people. All of this money that I've mentioned should be going into the British state to support the British people. The British people should be coming first and foremost. Now, you can't have sort of Tony Blair sending soldiers to Afghanistan to fight against the Afghans and then bring the Afghans over to England where ex-servicemen are out on the street because they're told that they can't have accommodation anymore, because these lovely governments, these lovely councils that we have, are going to give those properties to, wait for it, Afghani refugees, which incorporate a lot of Taliban ex-servicemen, soldiers that killed and butchered the British when the British went over there to fight. What does that make Tony Blair? What does that make Starmer? So As this meeting is going on between Trump and Putin in Alaska, this woke Prime Minister invites Vladimir Zelensky, and they're standing at 10 Downing Street and they're giving each other great big hugs and cuddles because that's the right thing to do. Now, I think, there is a lot more to these relationships, than meet the eye. The reason that this woke Prime Minister is giving our money, taxpayers' money, to these countries is because he's getting freebies. He's doing things with these people that we would classify as being inappropriate. So you have Emmanuelle Srapon, the French rib tickler that's putting a sickly smile on his face. You've got the Vlod coming to England, where he's welcomed by the woke Prime Minister, who's giving him services behind closed doors. Oh, Vlod, that's lovely, Vlod. Oh, thank you very much, Vlod. But you're not as good as Emmanuelle. He's got a strap on that reaches parts that other parts cannot reach. This is what we're dealing with in today's woke society. So, then we have people like Bubba Lamy, guy that's got the same lip as Bubba in the film Forrest Gump. Now, the only thing Bubba likes is a pork pie, which is why he gets on very well with queer Starmer. Because what does Starmer do? He is called Sir Lies a lot. His nose gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like Pinocchio. In fact, he's so wooden, I do believe he is a distant relative of Pinocchio. And he tells lots of pork pies. So Lamy likes to feast on Starmer's pork pies. They are gaslighting the British public every day, and they think that we're all dense, that we are stupid. How much longer are the British people going to put up with this bullshit? We need a leader with backbone. Somebody that is going to stand their ground and protect the people of this nation. Now Lamy, he likes the word reparation, even though the ignorant sod cannot spell the word. If you sat him down and put him on the spot and asked him to spell reparation, he would not have a clue. Now, I mentioned the other day about the Magna Carta back in 1215. Now, before King John got the throne, his brother Richard went off on a crusade to Jerusalem to fight a holy war. Now, is this the British government's way of getting their own back upon the British people? Instead of the British people going on a crusade, they're bringing all the people in the Middle East and the Far East over to England to return the favour. Two days ago, there was massive I can't think of the word. The Pakistanis had a massive day of celebration upon the streets of London because they had independence from England. There's hundreds of thousands of them on the streets of England waving Pakistani flags, chanting and going, ha ha ha, We got liberation. Pakistan got liberation from England. If they like Pakistan so much, why are they not there? Why are they soiling our streets and our land with their presence, raping our children, and the government doing diddly squat about what's happening? We wanted an investigation with regards to the child rape gangs from the 1990s to the present date in time. Starmer did not want anything to do with an investigation taking place. I wonder why.